The Politics podcast is brought to you, as always, by patreon.com/JURY. We are in fast-moving times, ladies and gentlemen, and that means you need to keep up with the political news, the likes of which cannot be delivered to you by anybody else but the Politics program. But I only do this one day a week. All right, well then, what about 3 days a week? It's PX3. Would stand to reason we could do it 3 days a week, and indeed we do, friend. Monday and Friday, you also get mini episodes that very oftentimes have special guests, like Tom Merritt did this week, where we break down in the same irreverent format that this program does, the news of the day. And as you know, many times the news on Monday doesn't survive until Wednesday. So go ahead and get on the train. Patreon.com/JURY is where you can go. Go ahead and up your pledge to $3 a week, or become a new pledger at $3 a week. You get a dirt, dumb, easy RSS feed. I can't explain to you guys how simple this is. You become a patron. You get a custom RSS feed. It's literally just a URL like you would put into any kind of browser, right? Copy it. Go to wherever you listen to podcasts, which I assume you have one if you're listening to me, and you enter it into there. And no signing up. Once you've edited, or once you put it in there, you've added that RSS feed, it is set it and forget it forever. Boy, howdy, so easy. And if you have if you have Amazon Prime, you got $5 in your pocket that I'm calling dibs on, because it goes away if you don't use it, and it's free to use. Just head on over to twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. Hit the subscribe button. It'll ask you for money, but it will also give you an option to tie your Amazon Prime account. If you do that, that's $5 in my pocket for free that you have available to you that goes away if you don't use it. So I'm calling dibs, ladies and gentlemen. Head on over there, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. One last thing. Thank you to everybody that went out to our Night Attack live shows in Southern California over the weekend, San Diego and Los Angeles. If you did not make it, but you would still like some of the exclusive merch that we made for those events, including our fanny pack and our sticker collection with all parody stickers with exclusive parody stickers from the Web 1.0 days, including an Ask Gerbs, a Night Attack logo. Head on over to bit.ly/Night Attack merch. When that shit is gone, it is gone. Enough plugging. What do you say we just do this damn thing?
Politics. Yes. Come on.
Brought to you by Potcoin, yeah. Potcoin.com. Just kidding. Yo, but for real, Potcoin, get at me. I want to talk to y'all. I want to talk to Potcoin. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Politics program. My name is Justin Robert Young. I am, we are full to bursting this week. It's fucking wild, man. Everything's popping off. We have the North Korea stuff. We've got late breaking news that literally is just happening right now. That possibly the man who knows the most about Donald Trump, the man who knows the most about Donald Trump's worst moments, may or may not now be cooperating with the federal government. We do not know. We will explain that as we go forward. We have the end of one of the most amazing scandalous careers in politics last night during the primaries. And we have what can only charitably be described academically if a grouping of geese is a gaggle, if several crows together is a murder, then several shitty midterm ads can only be described as a gangbang. We've got them all for you on this show right here today. And we will begin to get into the discussion. I don't know how much we're going to talk about it, but they want to split. I'm going to have the opportunity to decide as a California voter on whether or not I want to no longer live in a united California. Whether or not I want to split the Golden State into 3 different states that will now be on the ballot in November. We will talk about that. We got the pole dance. We got but your emails. Again, full to bursting. Full to bursting. But first, let's talk about this. Mark Sanford has lost. He was a sitting representative in the House of Representatives from the great state of South Carolina. Now, many of you might remember that name. That is because, well, you know, he once was very, very, very famous.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yes.
The truth is I never left you.
You can go back now.
All through my wild days.
You're free, Mark.
My mad existence.
Go back.
I kept my
Be with the love of your life.
Don't keep your distance.
Mark Sanford, of course, came to prominence when he was the governor of South Carolina. He was away from his staff and from his state, where he was the executive, without any kind of communication. It was later said he was hiking the Appalachian Trail, when really he was with the woman he would later become engaged to, an Argentine journalist. For those of you who listened to our American Sex Scandals Bracket Challenge in March, he was one of the entrants. It's one of my favorite stories. And the big ending was that he was still a representative. He was a currently elected official.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
But that is no longer the case. He loses last night. And it actually does have a little bit of relevance to where we're going in the midterms. As you all know, we are currently sitting perched on top of the lifeguard stand, binoculars in hand, for the Wave Watch. And part of looking out for the Wave Watch is that we are seeing how enthusiasm is breaking. Remember that it was not long ago. Remember Steve Bannon? Remember Steve Bannon? He would wear like 2 different collars, and he looked like an unmade bed, and he had the kind of complexion that only an original universal monster could enjoy. Remember? Oh, geez, there were such innocent days when Steve Bannon was plotting to run all-out nuclear war against the establishment wing of the Republican Party. He wanted to challenge vehemently seats that were held by politicians that he felt were not sufficiently loyal to America, or to Trump's America First agenda. And we kind of saw I don't know exactly how much if the woman that beat Sanford has any connection to Bannon, but she is a pro-Trump Republican in a pro-Trump state that beat an establishment candidate. That is fairly remarkable. It's going to show you two things. One is very, very boring and no one's going to care about. And one is, I think, interesting. The boring one is that all politics are local. This is an old adage. People repeat it a lot because it's true. As much as we want to make every little thing a referendum on the national psyche or behavior, that's not the case. You can ultimately get more people to the polls because of some shit that happened to a dude you know than because you are motivated by these larger national ideas and you subscribe to them so completely that you are voting down the ticket no matter what. That's not to say that there's no correlation. It's just to say that all politics are in fact local. So I don't really know the ins and outs of Mark Sanford's race, nor do I know, as you might have told by me not referring to the woman's name who beat him, what that lady's name is. I think I could probably look it up here. State Representative Katie Arrington. She took Sanford to task because he was not Trumpy enough, because he criticized the president, and now she won. And that is interesting, that right now we are looking, when you talk about a president dragging down a party, it has to be because he or she is tremendously toxic. So nobody wants to touch them. And the people that do touch them are damaged. Mark Sanford, now granted, as we pointed out, if we can all still get laughs so many years after Mark Sanford was a laughing stock in the early aughts or the mid-aughts, then obviously he's a candidate for whom has definable negatives, as they say in the business. And by the business, I mean the industry. But I don't really know anything else about it, except to say that somebody pro-Trump beat an anti-Trump person. Interesting. Interesting to say. But now again, come on. Be free. Be free, Mark. Now it's all for you. There we go.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
I'll see you, man.
The truth is, I never
I'll meet you in Buenos Aires.
all through my wild
Let's get a steak, dog.
my mad existence.
Let's hang out.
I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance.
Here's somebody else you shouldn't cry for. Michael Cohen. This is late breaking, folks. And if you're not going to tell, this is a very, very, very musical episode of this show because we have yet another musical cue for you. Let's go live to New York City, where Michael Cohen has fired his lawyers and is now apparently cooperating with federal authorities. People are looking. He is not only a target in a New York-based federal investigation, but also quite possibly the Mueller probe into meddling from Russia in the 2016 election. We go now live to the courthouse to get Michael Cohen's response. He is splashing through the water now, crystal clear.
They call him Flipper.
Oh.
Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see smarter than he.
This is from ABC News. Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's longtime confidant and personal attorney, is likely to cooperate with federal investigators as his lawyers are expected to leave the case, sources say. To date, Cohen has been represented by some law firm, but a source representing this matter has disclosed to ABC News that they are not expected to represent him going forward. No replacement counsel has been identified. Cohen, who's under criminal investigation for months, which is separate from the special counsel case, has been rushing to meet with U.S. District Judge Kimba Woods Friday, deadline to complete a privilege review of over 3.7 million documents seized in the April 9th raids on Cohen's New York properties and law offices. Cohen, who is under federal investigation now with no legal representation, is likely to cooperate with federal prosecutors in Manhattan. This development, which is believed to be imminent, will likely hit the White House, family members, staffers, and counsels hard. Hard. We're going to hit them hard. Hit it very hard. Two sources who are familiar with the warrant in the case told ABC News in April that federal agents were hunting for records tied to Cohen's personal business dealings and secret deals with alleged mistresses, media organizations, and the 2016 presidential campaign. Cohen's attorney at the time of the raids released a terse statement shortly after the April raids, arguing that the seized documents included, quote, the unnecessary seizure of protected attorney-client communications between a lawyer and his clients. These government tactics are wrong because Mr. Cohen has cooperated completely with all government entities, his former lawyer said, or now former lawyer. 2 days after the raids, Cohen told ABC News, I just want my stuff back. And the president, Donald J. Trump, wrote, attorney-client privilege is dead. We do not know what this means. So let me be clear when I say that even if we know for sure that Michael Cohen is cooperating with federal investigators, we have no idea whether or not that is going to relate to Donald Trump. We have no idea whether or not that's going to relate to Robert Mueller. He is apparently, Cohen, pronouns pal, the operative he, is under investigation for a lot. There's something like taxi medallion shit. Like there's a lot involved in there. So we don't know what he's cooperating with. We just know that he is, according to a source telling ABC News, cooperating, and we know that he no longer has attorneys. So whether or not, as Gambling Man in our chat room live on twitch.tv/Justin R. Young says, whether or not he has found his true porpoise in life, we do not know for sure. So I don't know how much time we're going to spend on this. Because, like, this is one of those things that I did want to bring up because it is important. But that's that. I really just wanted to play the Flipper theme song. All right, I'm gonna throw this one here to the live audience. What do you guys want to do first, North Korea or our shitty midterm ads? Which would be better to do first? Both are interesting. The North Korea topic involves me giving you a hot take. The midterm ads are a lot of us watching, well, shitty midterm ads. I feel like we should do North Korea first, so let's start with that. Here is easily the funniest part about North Korea in terms of politics to me. Because there's a lot funny about it. Oh, is there a lot funny about it? There is Dennis Rodman running around in a potcoin.com t-shirt crying on CNN with a MAGA hat on. There is Donald Trump talking about making sure that all the photographers are taking skinny, handsome photos of everybody while Kim Jong-un is literally right in front of him. looking like a scene out of the motherfucking Office. And we have the reactions, which is what I find the most funny. Because this North Korean summit is a great point of uniting. Not in the, peace, whatever. Peace is either going to come or it's not going to come, and this has more to do with China than it has to do with North Korea. Obama was right, and so was Trump. Deal with it, both of you. Red team and blue team, sit down. I'm going to serve you something that you might not like. Obama was right, and so was Trump. And now you both have to eat this same fucking casserole that I just pulled out of the hot take oven. Obama was right, and so was Trump. In 2008, while running for president, Barack Obama said that he would meet with dictators without preconditions. Chiefly, this involved Iran and North Korea. The idea behind this was that if he was an unknown political actor, that he could make deals that other more entrenched establishment candidates could not. This was him spinning his lack of foreign policy experience into a strength. Now, you can say, I don't believe that community organizer Barack Obama would be able to capitalize on these opportunities if you're on the Trump train. Woo-woo, the train that has no brakes. And you can say, if you are Obama, that Donald Trump has not done anything with this meeting. But what you cannot say categorically, as I am demanding that you can't stop it. You can't just move it around. You can't just break it up, this casserole that I've taken out of the hot take oven. You can't just break it up and move it around. You got to eat it. You all got to eat it. You're all eating the exact same casserole. Because guess what you can't get around? Donald Trump just met with a dictator without preconditions. And the worst thing you can say about it is that nothing will happen and it will be back to what we did before. Because essentially, either side really gave up anything. The biggest chip that we gave to North Korea, and really China, is that we will no longer conduct war games in the South China Sea with South Korea. And North Korea says that they are committed to eliminating their nuclear program. Wait, did I do it right? Nuclear is the one that people get mad at me for. Nuclear. Whatever. But there's no firm steps in place. So we're going to see. Literally right now, we have made a promise that we're not going to do a thing. And literally that lasted about 48 hours before Mike Pence had to calm down GOP Congress folk by saying, no, we'll still do readiness drills. We just won't do war games. And James Clapper said today, yeah, we'll start doing war games again if they start fucking around. So there's like the worst thing you can say about that meeting. The best thing you can say about that meeting is that it happened. And that there seems to be a motivation on the side of the North Koreans, and by proxy the Chinese, to do something. The worst thing you can say is that we pretty much go back to where we were before. Because, by the way, where we were before was Donald Trump effectively saying, do something, dog. Do you even lift? Via Twitter. Just like being a bully, saying that he's Little Rocket Man who has a tiny little penis. And North Korea responding by calling him a dotard. But don't think, no, finish it. There's no doggy bags. All of you need to eat this exact same casserole that I pulled out of the hot take oven. That doesn't get away from the fact that if you are on the blue team and you thought that meeting with dictators without preconditions was a good idea, then you got exactly your wish. And if you want to jump up and down and say that Donald Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize, then you have to understand Simpsons did it. This is something that, yes, that man, Barack Hussein Obama, he had that corner before y'all. Now, let's examine this idea, because here is what I think the kernel of interesting truth for both politicians is. There is a permanent diplomatic class. They work in foreign policy their entire lives. They probably all went to Oxford together. They know each other. And they create a protocol. First, we're both going to go to a dog park. And I'm going to let my dog sniff your dog's butt. And you're going to let your dog sniff my dog's butt. And if the dogs get together, then we can then exchange 2 words. And if we exchange 2 words, then we move it up the chain. And now you talk to my mom, and my mom talks to your dad. And then they recommend it to the ambassador. And then they recommend it to their boss. And then they recommend it to their boss. And each time somebody touches this chain of command, we put on one more little stipulation. Okay, well, you can talk to my mom, but you can't ask her about her dress. And you can talk to my dad, but you can't ask him about his overbite. And then it goes up and up and up and up and up. And then eventually, the reason why this is in place, and I'm not shitting on international diplomacy writ large, is that by the time that it gets to the executives, you effectively have an agreement in place. And you save executives from going through the trauma or the loss of political capital of walking to a negotiating table and walking away empty-handed or being left without anything to show for it. What I think is interesting is for the president of the United States to say, I'm already the most powerful person in the world. I don't give a fuck if I walk away from a table without anything. Let's meet and just say, enough with the middlemen. Let's just go and break it down. What do you want? What do I want? Is there a way that we can make it happen? If there's not, let's move on. Now, I'm not saying that there was no pre-work done. Certainly, Mike Pompeo was in North Korea secretly a couple times. But the term preconditions comes from this chain of command, which is what I'm trying to illustrate. It comes from months, if not years, of work done by a permanent foreign policy class. And again, I'm not saying that they're useless. I think that they are the rule. What I think was interesting about Obama in 2008, and I think is interesting about Donald Trump now, is what this idea presupposes is, what if they weren't? What if we took a more direct approach? And now we led with our Secretary of State. Because there's going to be some kind of conversation before people meet. It's not like you're just going to fucking hook up Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un on a blind date at a Bennigan's, right? Both countries aren't going to, like shield their eyes until they're right across the booth from each other so they can then make small talk. Of course, there's going to be some kind of back and forth leading into it. But it's not the years and years and years, and every time there's a bit of progress between the United States and North Korea that we have to go to Japan, and then we have to go to South Korea, and then we have to go to China, and then we have to bounce that idea off everybody, and then we come back, and then we decide based on the bouncing what we should do, and then we go forward. This is a far more unilateral idea, and it was one proposed by Barack Obama. Now, whether or not that was executed in the Iran deal is the interesting part, because if you're a red teamer, you can say, you want to know what? Broken clock's right twice a day. Obama was right on the meeting without preconditions thing, and it was him not doing that with Iran that made the shitty deal that Donald Trump invalidated. So, you can get up from the table now. You have all consumed enough to my satisfaction of my ugly-ass casserole that I pulled from the hot take oven. And because you guys were such good red teamers and blue teamers, I will offer dessert. Something we can all enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the trailer. Yes, there was a trailer for the North Korean Singapore summit.
Keep moving.
Wait a minute. That wasn't part of the trailer for the audio listeners. I think that was part of the flipper thing. Here we go. All right.
Seven billion people inhabit planet Earth. Of those alive today, only a small number will leave a lasting impact. And only the very few will make decisions or take actions that renew their homeland and change the course of history.
All right. So if you are an audio listener only, this is a trailer that was shown for the press. It shows a lot of stock footage of the world, the great accomplishments of the world, scientific breakthroughs, symphonies, airports, mass transit, the great achievements of man on Earth. And as they talk about the few that will make decisions that will change the lives of many, they show Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un.
History may appear to repeat itself for generations. Cycles that never seem to end.
And now we have the black and white
there
footage.
Have been times of relative peace.
Black and white footage of the bad old days.
And times of great tension. While this cycle repeats, the light of prosperity and innovation has burned bright for most of the world. History is always evolving. And there comes a time when only a few are called upon to make a difference. But the question
More shots of Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump.
Is, what difference will the few make? The past doesn't have to be the future. Out of the darkness can come the light, and the light of hope can burn bright.
Here we go.
What if
Shots of children.
a people that share a common and rich heritage can find a common future? Their story is well known, but what will be their sequel? Destiny Pictures presents us.
Destiny Pictures. Destiny Pictures presents. So apparently they've looked for a Destiny Pictures. We do not know who Destiny Pictures is. I think Destiny Pictures is just kind of a metaphor.
Story of opportunity. A new story. A new beginning. One of peace. Two men. Two leaders. One destiny. A story about a special moment in time when a man is presented with one chance that may never be.
Oh my God. All right. So they're back to showing all the achievements of humanity. And they fucking included a slam dunk. I didn't recognize the slam dunk the last time. But it is a two-handed jam with a dude in a random jersey. It is stock footage of a man slam dunking. Fucking amazing.
Repeated. What will he choose? To show vision and leadership?
By the way, Kim Jong-un, gigantic basketball fan.
Or not? There can only be two results. One of moving back.
Black and white shots of missiles launching. A satellite shot of South Korea all lit up at night while North Korea is literally a black hole except for, 4 houses in Pyongyang.
Or one of moving forward.
Uh-oh. Countdown. All the missiles are launching in reverse. Oh, and now North Korea is lit up.
A new world can begin today. One of friendship, respect,
Horses running in the ocean.
and goodwill. Be part of that world, where the doors of opportunity are ready to be opened. Investment from around the world, where you can have medical breakthroughs.
A drone carrying a package.
An abundance of resources, innovative technology, and new discoveries. What if? Can history be changed? Will the world embrace this change? And when could this moment in history begin? It comes down to a choice. On this day, in this time, at this moment, the world will be watching, listening, anticipating, hoping. Will this leader choose to advance his country and be part of a new world? Be the hero of his people? Will he shake the hand of peace and enjoy prosperity?
I mean, say what you want. E3 got weird this year. This is a weird fucking game. This is indeed real, and we're almost to the end of it. But shit, we only have like 20 seconds left. We can play the end.
Like he has never seen. A great life or more isolation? Which path will be chosen? Featuring President Donald Trump.
All right, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did not watch this entire trailer. I only watched the first half, so I am reacting to it in real time. But now featuring Donald Trump, he is smiling, and there is a quote on the screen. I really think we have a very good chance of doing something very meaningful.
And Chairman Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un with a quote: we no longer will have to tighten our belts.
In a meeting to remake history, to shine in the sun. One moment, one choice. What if? The future remains to be written.
I wonder. There was a dude who I was following for a while. He was young, too. His name was like Benino or something. But he did ads like that. He did like a Rick Perry ad that was like, it was very like Michael Bay, lens flares, slow motion, swaying grain, that kind of shit. I actually wonder if he was involved in that. Anyway. This seems to be the writ large pitch for North Korea. Not about what you need to do, but rather what can be there for you. The idea that Kim Jong-un, in his legacy, cannot be the monsters that his fathers died as, but rather for this chance, this opportunity, that the United States can essentially co-sign on a get out of jail free card. Yes, you've murdered your family members. Yes, you continue to enslave your people to the point that they have been so malnourished they are breaking their own path on the evolutionary chart. Yes, you are exactly the same breed of egomaniacal, dictatorial, authoritarian monster for which the nuts you have sprung from. But right now, right here, as illustrated by this trailer by Destiny Pictures, you can get a get-out-of-jail-free card. And you can live the rest of your life in North Korea as a transition figure and not as a dictator who has to worry constantly about bringing your own toilet so nobody can find your shit to analyze it. True story, that actually happened in Singapore. I'm actually shocked that he didn't say, hey, look, what do you say we sign this shit right now and we can still make Game 4 of the NBA Finals? Striker Rich does make a good point that if Raul Castro's image can be rehabilitated, why not Kim Jong-un's? Well, because Raul's not Fidel, although he certainly bears culpability for the atrocities that have happened in Cuba. But Cuba doesn't have nuclear weapons. I mean, that's the biggest thing. In general, everybody has their own opinions on how you should handle awful dictators that have enslaved people. This is the pitch. Whether or not it happens, we don't know. We can't. So I think everybody who's criticizing the meeting, I don't think that the United States gave up anything meaningful. And certainly, even as we've seen on the record, we haven't given anything up that we can't reverse. And if you're on the Trump train and you're talking about a Nobel Peace Prize, well, I will say...
Well, let's not start sucking each other's dicks quite yet.
This can all go south immediately. Like, give me what's more likely. That Kim Jong-un will be cannonballing into the pool at Camp David, or that we will be threatening nuclear war against each other within the next 2 months. Because I find both possibilities equally likely. Equally likely. I would also like to recommend, go ahead and get on the free political newsletter, freepoliticalnewsletter.com. We had a couple of really, really good articles. One from Axios about who won and who lost. Essentially, Japan could be a little bit peeved because there was no mention of Japanese hostages, that some of which have been in North Korea for like 40 years, in the language of the document that was signed. South Korea can be a little on the fence about it. A plus in the fact that they were at least mentioned as part of the leadership going forward. And China's the big thumbs up because they want America, and specifically America's military installations, as far away from mainland China as possible, which is part of the reason why they're really the only actor that means the most about this. All right. So that's North Korea. Now let's get into some more fun stuff. We have a bunch of political ads that I want to show you guys. You guys have already seen Brian Kemp, who is running as a Republican in Georgia for governor. This is his main rival. He has run an attack ad against Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp's the one who was pointing the shotgun at the teenager and was blowing up regulations with an actual explosion behind him, and had a truck for which he would round up all these illegals and take them to Mexico myself. Yep, I said it. That guy. So now his opponent is running ads where a lookalike to Brian Kemp is going around and campaigning This is the first ad.
I'm Brian Kemp, and I'm running for governor.
The Secretary of State, who's supposed to be protecting the voters' confidential information.
Yes, ma'am.
The same Brian Kemp that made our confidential information public. Including the Social Security numbers of 6 million Georgia voters. And you got caught covering it up.
Oh, okay, well.
Shame on you, Brian Kemp.
God damn.
Get that big truck out of here.
Brian Kemp, incompetent, untrustworthy.
All right, so hold on. Just so you are aware, here we go. I want to play this again. This guy is just hemming and hawing. Brian Kemp, career politician. He has a Kemp button. Let's just get this fucking angry woman right in his ear one more time.
And you got caught covering it up.
Oh, okay, well.
Shame on you, Brian Kemp. Get that big truck out of here.
Brian Kemp, incompetent.
Also, by the way, Brian Kemp is driving away in a truck that has Brian Kemp, incompetent politician, written on the back of it. All right, so that's our first one. Dan Wally in our chat screaming, "Spit on him! Spit on him!" Here is our second. This was for Mark Eves. He was running for governor of Maine. They had their primary last night. Unfortunately, he did not make it, but let's see if maybe we can spot some of the problems with his ad. This is Mark Eves reading Mean Tweets.
Hi, I'm Mark Eves. I'm here to read just a few of the very nice and totally normal things people have said about me during my run to be your governor. So here we go. Mark Eves hates white people. Huh. Mark Eves wants to ship law-abiding gun owners out of states. Not all of them. The last one. Mark Eves is a socialist, carpet-bagging, anti-American democrat. Is that even how you say that? So that was fun. But look, we all know Paul.
So number one, this is obviously some fucking social media intern's idea of like, oh, you know, the Jimmy Kimmel videos. Those are so hilarious. You should do a mean tweets thing. We get mean shit written about us. But I can tell you for a fact that this entire ad, you can sum up how he thinks about it when he says the following.
So that was fun.
And if you are only listening, what you are not seeing is him shrugging his shoulders and saying, so that's fun.
But look, we all know Paul LePage and Donald Trump love this kind of politics. But I think we can help Mainers with universal health care, better schools, and real gun safety. If you want a governor who has seen people struggle and will stand up for our progressive values, I'm your guy. But if you want an anti-American democrat, well, apparently, I'm your guy there too.
Also, you cannot, this is something that I don't know if you can hear it. In fact, tell me if you can hear it, audio listeners, because he makes this joke that if he's also Mark Eves, an anti-American democrat for governor, right? And then he makes this, it sounds to me while I'm watching it that he is, it is a wordless chuckle.
I'm your guy there too.
But I don't know if you can hear it. I would love to isolate it.
Don't forget to vote on June 12th, Mark Eves. Thank you.
And then he does it again. And by the way, this ad has gone so well. Let's have some outtakes.
Mark Eves, respectfully, sir, I think a mustache would not hurt your chances and would be a boss look.
Oh, you know, we're just a relatable guy. He lost, and he should have lost. That's a bad ad. But not as bad as this one. Not as bad as this one. This one, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put up against Cocaine Mitch. This is my favorite bad ad of the week that was sent to us. This is Maldonado for the governor of Maryland. This is his ad called Take That.
I'm Rich Madalino. I'm running for governor to deliver progressive results and to stand up to Donald Trump. Here are a few of the things I've done that already infuriate him. I protected Planned Parenthood from the Republicans in Congress.
Take that, Trump.
I helped ban assault weapons in Maryland.
Take that, NRA.
I believe.
So for the audio listeners, he has gone from a bunch of protesters when he's saying these things and then they're in the background yelling, take that. Then it was the NRA who's standing in front of a school. Now he is on a playground with a bunch of kids.
I believe in public schools, not vouchers.
Take that, Trump. And Betsy DeVos. Yeah!
And what's the number one way I piss off Donald Trump and the Republicans? Take that, Trump.
Okay. What you may or may not have
I'm Rich
caught
Madalino.
With that last part is he is now back to the steps where he began the ad, and he is with another man who is staring into the camera as if he is watching infinity unfold in front of him. I cannot give you a more intense description. He is watching this not since Dr. Stephen Strange saw all 18 million versions of how this could go, understanding that the way it was going to go was the only way that they win. Has somebody stared with such intensity into the infinity of life? Look at this dude. This dude is just looking. He has his eyes wide open as if they were pried open by toothpicks, and he is being forced into re-education, Clockwork Orange style. I would also like to note that this man who is next to him is not identified. Not identified by Maldonado. So we're assuming it's his partner. We're assuming it's his husband. We're assuming it's somebody that he has made a commitment to. However, we have no idea. So literally, what's the one thing that pisses off Donald Trump the most? I kiss boys. That's what.
I piss off Donald Trump and the Republicans. Take that, Trump.
And by the way, this guy just looks right back into the camera with the exact same look. That doesn't look like anything to me. Jerome Morrow points out that what if it's his political opponent? Dan Wally says he's been openly gay for 15 years while in office. Cool. I mean, you could talk about that. You could, even if you want to play up, I'm gay and I'm in office and these people don't like gay people, then that's fine, right? I would like to kind of, just to give context, you could mention, I mean, is this a dude you just met? Like, did you, here's a guy that I met at the Hardee's. I'm going to kiss him right on the lips. Eat it, squares. Oh, yeah. Take that, Trump. And tell the dude to blink. You're just doing him no favors. So there we go. Take that, Trump. Oh, Jesus. We are fucking late. We are late into this. I mean, Maldonado. I'll tell you what. We can't really even go into our California state succession because we got to get right into this. Maldonado, take that. What do you say? We go ahead and take this all the way to the club. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is our time. Our time down here to break down the numbers the way that we believe they should be broken down. This is a Maryland governor's race edition of the
Get on the floor if you got that booty.
Dance, 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 dance. This is a Baltimore Sun poll taken from May 29th to June 6th with 500 likely Maryland voters, a 4.4 margin of error. Coming up first to the stage with 1% of the vote, it is Ross. Following Ross, it is Shay with 4% of the vote. Also with 4% of the vote, it is Vinjaraja. Murdered that one. Let's get a big round of applause for with 4% of the vote. Take that, Trump. It's Maldonado. With 5% of the vote, we have Irvin. 16% of the vote, Baker. And I'll tell you what, all of their opponents are peanut butter and jealous because jealous leads with 16% of the vote, tied with Baker. I hope they all kiss each other. What do you say we go ahead and get into but your emails? You can go ahead and email the show, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Mark writes in, today, Tuesday, is primary day here in South Carolina. I am fairly certain this morning that I was driving to work around 6:40 a.m. I saw one of the candidates snatching his opponent's sign in front of a polling place. Scandal! Also, I giggle on the inside every time you pronounce San Diego as Sandy Ego. Hey, man, I live there. I was just there this weekend. Sometimes I say it's San Diego, man. What are you going to do? Moving on, David writes, I was just listening to the most recent episode of Reply All, and they were breaking down what the deal was about Roseanne's racist tweets recently. Apparently, she's become convinced in the conspiracy world surrounding Pizzagate. I'm sure that you're familiar with this conspiracy. I don't think that I've heard anything about it in a year since that guy went to jail because he walked into Comet Pizza with an assault rifle. I thought the story had pretty much died there. Apparently, the conspiracy is still going and was fueled by an offhand comment that President Trump had made that there was, quote, a storm coming, end quote. People link this to the Pizzagate conspiracy and believe that the Mueller investigation into Trump is actually a cover for the real investigation that they're conducting on the Democratic elites that are involved in this satanic child pornography sex ring, and that the storm is going to be a sudden crackdown and arresting all of the people involved. There was an anonymous person posting a sort of conspiracy prophecies named QAnon that everyone started following. Since Roseanne tried to embrace the Trump-loving working class as the theme to her new series, I'm guessing that she started looking into this community and became convinced in some of the theories floating around. Apparently, Valerie Jarrett is believed to be part of the theory. Roseanne has apparently been posting shortly before this tweet about QAnon and asking QAnon to get in touch with her. Anyway, there's much more insanity to all this, but Reply All does an amazing job of explaining the situation. Although, in general, I have a hard line on not recommending other podcasts on my podcast, go ahead and listen to Reply All. I think it is a great podcast. David also began that email saying you don't have to read this on the show. I beg to differ. David, you wrote about Roseanne and Pizzagate. That's the kind of lunacy I like on this show at all times. Mark, who had written in at the beginning of this segment, said, a follow-up to my last email. It turns out what I thought I saw was inaccurate. He was repositioning his own signs so that they would be more visible. Well, scandal averted. And finally, Ken writes, so as a Canadian, I read CNN's article about Trump's erroneous history jackassery with our prime OMG dreamboat, and I was equally annoyed, but for different reasons. The story should have been, quote, was an asshole to a long-standing ally and economic partner, not a well-actually piece about when Canada technically became a nation. Something that we can't even really seem to decide on. Quote, well, actually, it wasn't technically Americans who tossed a bunch of tea into the Boston Harbor. You know why people don't go around saying that? Because it's a pedantic asshole thing to say. Here's my take on why some Americans have such a hard time about losing the War of 1812 to Proto-Canadians. It's because we're just a bunch of fucking moose people. The U.S. and Canada are like brothers. The U.S. is the loud, famous, tremendously successful brother, but he just can't seem to get over that time that he and Canada, pre-Canada, were kids, and he got out of line and his quiet, normal, apologetic brother kicked his ass. Anyway, sorry for burning down your house, eh? And that was before we had all the other shit about Canada this week where we got into it with fucking Canada. Oh, my God. Whatever. You can go ahead and email this show, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Please keep sending local ads. A lot of these local ads came from emails. So please, if you see crazy local ads, send them in. We love, love, love. This is the best reason for midterms. Some of the best, most batshit political ads in history have come from the midterms because you have a lot of motherfuckers that they're getting money for their campaigns for the first time in their lives. And there's a lot of shit that like you could only shoot it once and you got to air it because they don't have unlimited funds. So please, please, please keep sending these ads in. Woo! That is a hell of a show, ladies and germs. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Again, freepoliticalnewsletter.com is where you need to go for 5 days a week. It's about 5 links, some hot takes, a lot of gifts, many of them from the Chappelle Show. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/JURY. Support the show. $3 gets you 2 extra podcasts. If you have Amazon Prime, you can give me money for free by going over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. Hit subscribe. It should walk you through how to link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account. If you don't have a Twitch account, it takes you 2 minutes to set up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I promise. That about wraps it up for this version of the show, though. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up, having a good time, eating my casserole. Folks, a public service reminder that some shows cover politics. Some shows cover politics. And there was another one I saw the other day that covered politics. But this is the only motherfucking show that covers... Oh, God damn. 3! I will see you guys later.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.